Welcome everybody to the USC Podcast number 2. We're a bit short-staffed today, but we have myself, NF Hanson, SCO, and Landscaper. We're glad to have you back there, Landscaper.
Hey, thanks for having me. Hello, everyone out there in podcast land. How's it going?
So, of course, you all know who we are. NF Hanson, I'm the head community podcaster for the USC. And Landscaper over here was one of our co-hosts last week. I think you wanted to redo your introduction again, right?
Me, I wanted to redo my introduction again.
Yeah.
Well, I could. My name is Landscaper. I am in the run for the United Space Federation International Commerce Department Head, and been a member of the organization for about 6 or 7 months now, and I look forward to rolling with these guys in the verse.
Great. That was actually a lot better than you did last week. You guys were a little awkward on the mic last week. Hey. Yeah, no, I'm not blaming y'all. Alright, so we're just gonna jump right into it. Of course, we're gonna be doing our headline topics, we're gonna be doing our Star Citizen topics, our USC topics, and if we got any time left, we'll go into general discussion. Be sure to ask any questions you feel like. Tweet at Lyoko222, it's LYOKO222, or comment on the live stream chats. I'll be monitoring both, answering any questions. Leave comments, concerns, feedbacks, questions, anything you want. Okay, so once again, jumping right in. Our headline topic is I've secured us a slot on Base Radio. Now, for those of you who don't know, Base Radio is it's kind of a community radio network for Star Citizen. And if I'm not mistaken, they've actually had a few people from Cloud Imperium Gaming on a few of their programs. Isn't that right?
Yep.
So once again, I got into contact with whoever heads up their networking, and secured us a 1-hour slot. Yeah, right. I think this is going to be really good for the USC. It's going to open a lot to the corp, and hopefully we can get some people, help Base Radio get some people, help us get some people, spread our name out there, and get more involved in the Star Citizen community.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was just the guys at Base, they wanted to see a sample of our work and kind of get an understanding of our commitment to supporting the community and putting out good reports. Was that correct?
Yep. Hold on. So for those of you on live stream, you can probably see right here that Ogiwan has graced us with his presence. Hold on.
User was moved to your channel.
Hey, Ogie.
Greetings, comrades.
So, joining us now is Ogiwan, who was one of the co-hosts last week as well. Once again, Ogie, we were just going over how I've secured us a slot on Base Radio, the Star Citizen Community Network.
Well, go us.
Yeah, and like I said, that's still in the works right now. Still keeping in touch with the guys over there. And hopefully our next podcast will be live on their station.
Ooh, sexy.
So keep in tune for that. All right, moving on for our Star Citizen topics. The first-person shooter module is in the works according to the April monthly updates. This one was pretty lengthy, isn't that right, Landscaper?
Yeah, man, it was a wall of text, but a lot of videos and some great information for a whole range of goodies coming our way. So, I felt compelled to leave a little thanks, CI. Go, just keep up the good work, CI type of post. So, I'm very excited.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I will say that we've known that the first-person shooter module aspect has been in process for a while. It's just that at that last update, it became notably aware that they were a lot farther along than anybody had really thought, and that they're definitely not half-assing it.
Yeah, well said. I told Hanson earlier before we started that I was kind of, surprised that they were beginning to work or had been working on that already, and that was very impressive.
And thinking about it, it's like I think a lot of people, excuse me, a lot of people came into Star Citizen thinking, hey, you know what, it's going to be a space flight game, and a lot of the other stuff is just going to be, ancillary. It'll just be kind of tacked on. But, I mean, the thing is, fundamentally, that's not how, Chris Roberts and his team operate, If they do something, they don't slack. They do it as well as anybody could want it done, because they know that's how you make your fans happy. You don't half-ass it. Hello?
Sorry, and exactly. That's something really important that I think Star Citizen, or rather Cloud Imperium Games, really gets about their community, is that they don't want to half-ass anything. They listen to the community. They're always listening to suggestions. They're always willing to answer questions about it, and listen to concerns we may have about it. And I think that's really smart as a gaming company.
And actually, how much time do we have for tangents? Can I go on a short tangent here?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm working on a master's degree in operations management, right? And a good chunk of that is product development and all of the costs that are associated with product development. And the thing is that a huge chunk of the cost in any product is designed into is designed into the product during the design phase. Like, before even the first prototype has come off of the production line, it's something like 80% of the cost is already designed into your product. So then the thing is that when the you guys remember the first cut of the Hornet HUD? It would have been like late last year, I think. Any guys remember that?
Vaguely, now that you mention it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of the people on the forum were saying, look, that HUD is way too busy, it's too complicated, and as a result, they redesigned the HUD and simplified it and streamlined it a little bit. And the thing is, they pointed out, and I don't think many people noticed or figured it out, but them being able to get that feedback that early in the design process, before they had pushed that same design philosophy out to all the other StarCraft, or before it had gone any further, we as the fans could say, we don't like that, and they could redesign it that early. That saves them, I don't know how much money, but you could probably, fill a pool and swim in it.
Yeah, copy that. Very well said. That's an excellent thing. Uh, I mean, wow. Kudos. Plus one internet point to you, sir.
Whoosh!
All right, and so I mean, me personally, I'm excited about the FPS thing because I've never really been too much of a flyboy. It comes to piloting things. I've always preferred to keep my boots on the ground personally. But I'm pretty excited about. I'm excited to see what kind of weapons you're gonna have, and what kind of how exactly they're gonna work the whole gameplay system out. Whether or not it's gonna be like Arma like realism or like Battlefield. But
Well, go ahead.
as a, but of course it's really early. We've just heard about it in the April monthly updates, so I'm sure we'll get more information as it draws closer to beta.
Yeah. Though, I mean, one of the things I do remember reading, and Landscaper, if you can back me up here, feel free to. But I remember reading something along the lines of that, if you're wounded, one of your squad mates will have to drag your ass back to, like, your ship's medbay or something like that. and then you won't die as hard. Whereas,
Yeah, that's pretty right on in lines with what I think they're saying out there.
yeah, but I mean, it's more than just you die, you respawn, and then you die again 40 seconds later. No, it's as far as I can tell, if you're boarding a ship, you have one life, and and either you lose one of your permanent lives by dying horribly, you get wounded, don't lose one of your permanent lives and get dragged back to the medbay, or you survive.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, you ship in a boarding action, you get injured or killed. If one of your teammates could get to you in time and pull you back. So I don't know, does that introduce certain classes? Will say for instance, will Hanson be a medic? And we want to keep him. And so now we're doing some battlefield type tactics where we're trying to keep our medics up and protected, and they know how to jump in, revive us, and get out the way again, that kind of thing.
The thing is that I doubt that they're going to have anything as strictly defined as a medic or a support guy or whatever.
Hmm.
And I think it's far more likely that they would just have various kinds of loadouts. And I'm basing this on the fact that that they've very much resisted giving your typical MMO terms to your ships. Like they don't call the Hornet a tank, and they don't call the Avenger a DPS or anything like that.
Mm.
No, they keep away from that. So I think that they would also avoid that sort of stratification with your FPS classes. I mean, I am foreseeing that probably would be like you have this many kilos of weight you could carry or something like that, and use those kilos to buy different kinds of armor and weapon and equipment. And one of those pieces of equipment might be, a medipack to stabilize you or something like that.
Yeah, roger that. That's very interesting. I know the headline topic for our podcast today is the dogfighting module, as it was showcased, and kind of talking more about some of the fruits of that. But I'll leave it up to Hanson to steer us away and back on track here.
Well, going into the next topic, past the FPS, is DFM should be out within a few more weeks here. If like I said, just going back to the April monthly update in the wall of text, I skimmed through a lot of it, but what I did see is that the graphics team is doing their final spot checks on the graphics for the ships, and which generally means that they're about to release it soon.
I believe that I remember hearing them say that it would, or at least I got the impression that it would be like the third week of May, which means that there's a distinct possibility that you might be able to play the dogfighting module over Memorial Day weekend, which makes all us Americans very, very happy.
Right, but sorry people in the UK and anywhere that's not America.
Well, look, I'm just saying Memorial Day weekend, usually, people get Memorial Day off, so there will be, all of the gaming.
Yeah.
So the first person shooter module is in the work. The dogfighting module should be out in what, 2 to 3 weeks? These guys are really cooking over here, man. They're blazing it up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
But again, it's they have. Go ahead, Hanson.
I was just saying, it started off where people were a little iffy about it, when the DFM got delayed earlier this year. And, I know there are a lot of sentiments, that maybe Cloud Imperium was going to start cutting corners. I mean, they already have $43 million in the bank, so I think a lot of people were thinking that Cloud Imperium was slacking off, and, they were losing the incentive because they were already making the money off the game that hasn't even been released. But I think Cloud Imperium really proved those people wrong, I gotta say.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, sure, you're right. We have, Star Citizen has $43 million that they could, put in their swimming pool and, swim around like Scrooge McDuck. But the thing is that they've also purposefully developed their company so that it's wide. it's not just one team working on one thing at a time. They have multiple teams working on multiple things at the same time, which, sure, it means that they really have to be careful with making sure that all the things from all the teams can play well together, but, that means that they can move in multiple directions at the same time.
Well, yeah, of course, you got the people over in England working on Squadron 42. You get the people in Austin working on their, and people in Santa Monica. Then, of course, the executive offices in Hollywood. They got 4 locations working on 4 different things. But I think their divide and conquer strategy is working pretty well. I know they've hired a few new people on their staff. I think more importantly, I think it was artist directors or graphic designers. Once again, of course, that was all in the April monthly update. There's a lot of information in that. We'll throw that in the link dump for anybody who wants to read that after the podcast or during it. I don't really care. But we'll put that linked up on YouTube. All right, so have you guys been following the Next Great Starship? It's on episode 11 right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually watched the most recent episode today, which is kind of unusual because I haven't bothered with the last couple episodes, but today, I knew that they were eliminating people, so yeah, I tuned in. Landscaper?
Yeah, same here, man. And woot woot, my guy got in, Talon.
Yeah, Hanson, Eli says that the live stream isn't loading.
It isn't. I'll go troubleshoot that real quick. But as far as the Next Great Starship goes, I believe they're gonna eliminate 2 more teams this week.
Well, they eliminated 3, so there was 5. So this last episode, they eliminated 3. One of those 3 get to go into safe mode, but it's up to the community to vote on who that third team will be to go through the next phase.
Yeah.
Well,
so next week another 2 teams. Say again?
Nothing. The live stream should be up right now. There's having some problems with my bandwidth connection or whatnot. The live stream just went down for a little bit. I didn't notice it, but I'm really excited to see who's gonna win this competition, and I really hope they actually are offered something, whether or not it's like employment or something with Cloud Imperium, because these guys have done an impressive job.
Well, the thing is, first off, the winning team gets $30,000, so that ain't too shabby.
Sweet.
But yeah, I know. But I think even like the second place people still get some money, or they might get some like sweet. I think they might get some pimp ass computers from like Nvidia or Alienware or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's like a runner-up package and a third package or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. So these guys definitely aren't going away empty-handed, but still, even among the Star Citizen community, we're gonna look at these people and be like, you make some sweet-ass ships. Please make me some sweet-ass ships. And the thing is that when the Persistent Universe drops, these people will still be able to make ships. And if CIG likes them, they will be put into the game, and they can make money in-game. So...
You mean sort of like modding or something like this?
Actually, exactly like modding, yeah. So anybody who's been, who has been in the Next Great Starship up to this point, they're just honing their skills until, the PU drops, and they can, try to make it in the big time in the Persistent Universe.
Yeah, but this was, and I believe this was part of the whole thing we were touching base on a couple minutes ago about Cloud Imperium really getting involved with their community. and it's really
Absolutely.
smart. It's really smart from a business perspective, and it's also really smart, from a community perspective too, because the more that the company wants to connect with the community, whether or not it's, just talking to them or letting them build actual in-game content even before the release, it's really going to help this company for Star Citizen. Definitely. I mean, Star Citizen is going to be historic when it's released.
Absolutely.
All right. So moving on to the USC topics. Really not too much in the topic of that. Really, there's no new information on who's going to be the USC IC leader. We all know it's probably going to be a landscaper, but but so there's really no updates on that. There was, however, a topic in particular I found interesting that was made by Dante Petraeus, one of our little Brits who was on here last week. And I believe he actually got it from somewhere else, but we can just go over some of that stuff real quick. So one of the things he put is the game is made to be solo player friendly, so you can experience a full universe alone without needing to join a larger guild. Of course, we can't really endorse that because we're all part of a corp.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, could you say that again, please?
I was saying,
Is
the
he
game's
breaking
made-
up for you a little bit too?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
breaking up for me.
I was saying the game's meant to be solo player friendly, so you don't actually have to join a corp or anything to really enjoy the game. Which it's
Oh, yeah.
they're not going to follow in the example of Eve, to where I guess corps can own space. I suppose it was no guild territorial zones, which is a little disappointing for me.
Well, I mean, the thing is that, one of the reasons that I was so amped about this game when I first, found out about it, and that would be in October 2012, maybe November 2012, during the Kickstarter campaign. I'm old guard. But one of the reasons I was so amped about it was because it essentially was supposed to be Privateer. And if any, do either of you remember that game?
Ooh,
I did not play Batir, no.
I did not either.
Oh, all right, man. So, tell you guys what to do. Go to GOG.com, pick up Privateer for like $5 and play it. It is fantastic. But
Is that
the
a
entire
Chris
thing
Roberts
about
game?
Privateer is, say again?
Is that a Chris Roberts game?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
And I mean, and it's essentially the same sort of open universe thing. It's you can go from system to system, trading stuff. You can get missions. You can kill pirates. You can be a pirate. Pirate bases in your asteroid fields, and there are pains and asses to get to. And I've died more than a few times running into an asteroid. But it was still a ridiculous amount of fun because you're a businessman and you're doing missions and you're doing what you want. Sure, there's a plot to follow, but if you don't want to follow the plot, you can go off and be whatever. And that's one of the things that really drew me to Star Citizen. And so yeah, all this time I knew that solo play would be embraced because one of the roots of Star Citizen is Privateer. And Privateer was fundamentally a solo game. Go ahead.
So that ability being placed into Star Citizen, in order for you to be allowed to kind of play solo, is sort of in the same vein as prior games that Chris Roberts has pushed out, especially Privateer. I see there's a Privateer 2 as well, it seems like.
Yeah, I haven't played that one yet.
Okay, but that's cool. I mean, it's nothing wrong with that, I guess, to be able to be online, be part of the universe. But some nights you feel like being alone and just getting in a quick mission or doing a couple of things real quick, get in, get out, and you got your exam the next day, and you don't want to be in a game where you feel like when you log on, you got to be there for 3-4 hours doing dailies and quests and grinding for that next epic boss piece to drop, and it never does, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, and the other thing is, yeah. So I've played, some other games like in the Old Republic. Sure, I was a member of a guild there, and sure, it was cool to talk with people, but yeah, a good amount of the time, I didn't want to do the dailies. I didn't want to go on raids and kill big bosses and whatnot. I just didn't care. A good chunk of the time, I wanted to just be left the hell alone. Which is, by the way, one of the reasons why I'm a fan of the United Space Confederation, because if you want to play solo, you can play solo, but if you want to group up, then we will happily group up with you. Join the USC, people.
Alright, so touching base on that, the second thing Dante posted was there is non-consensual player killing allowed everywhere, which is something that was in EVE Online. I know I compare everything in Star Citizen to EVE Online, but that's because EVE Online is an amazing game. But
I'll take your word for it. I mean, it's also the closest thing that we can use to compare it to.
Sure, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, but I think it's gonna be really. But I think the gameplay is gonna be pretty similar to the EVE Online high sec and low sec areas. Where if you look at EVE Online's universal map, it's almost like think of it as a 4-quadrant grid where the 0, the origin point of the whole grid, that's high sec space, that's 1.0 space where you have the max.
Please, you were breaking up.
That's like the maximum protection space. That's 1.0 space where you have like maximum NPC protection, which is also what UEE space is going to be, is basically high sec space for EVE Online players, to where you're under NPC protection to protect you from player killing mobs. Because for people who have played EVE Online, if you've ever fought the Concord, which is the NPC protection, then you'll know that they will rape you.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you a real quick story about my experience in EVE. I joined, paid my subscription. I played for a couple of weeks. I loved it. I joined a small corp. I got up my little mining. I was doing my thing. And the first time I said, well, you know what? I just got to go. I'm going to use the restroom real quick. And, oh, yeah, I'm going to grab a drink while I'm at it. And I came back, man, and I was like, not dead, but dead. I was so mad.
Hey, did I ever
tell
you about...
That's your fault for abandoning the post.
I know. It's like 6 weeks, man, just gone, dude. I was like, oh.
Did I ever tell you about my days in Goon Swarm? All right, so in quite contrast to Landscaper, I joined the largest corp, which was Goon Swarm, and I was a fleet commander in Goon Swarm. I ran a bunch of stealth bombers with a bunch of guys. So we hopped on grid to take this mining world, and there was one carrier on grid, and he wasn't about to go up against the 20 or 30 stealth bombers we all had. So he left after we started firing on him. So we thought, hey, this guy's gone. This is ours now. So we're there for about 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden we see 12 carriers hop back on grid. It was that same guy, and he brought 11 of his friends. Needless to say, we got the fuck up out of there.
They're a good thing.
I think this is back when we were fighting the Reds. But alright, so enough about that. We kind of just went off topic there. But so next point.
Yeah, get us back online there, Hanson. Get us back.
But nevertheless, you were talking about
how
it's
I'm stuck in my
probably
job.
going to be like. So you're talking about how it's probably going to be like low sec and high sec, and the thing is, sure, I can probably see that sort of some sort of that distinction being made. It's just that for I guess for lack of better words, it'll fit. It's just I think that's going to be a lot more nuanced in Star Citizen.
Yeah. Like I said, this is all just speculation on it, but I think it's just going to function a little bit like EVE in that sense, even though there's not going to be any territorial zones that can be owned by corps. But so I guess we can move on to the next one. Is players are free to play any role they dream of, kind of like EVE Online. Once again, I'm going back to that comparison. There's no extra job description, character classes, or skill trees. However, some missions/ships might require you to first pass a license test. So it looks like we're going back to the DMV. It's like being 16 all over again. So there will be licenses, apparently, so that'll be interesting. I really don't want to have a license to pilot a Bengal carrier, but whatever.
I mean, I think it really depends on what you can and what you cannot do with that license. I mean, the thing is that from a commercial standpoint, you figure that people with licenses, sure, they are a proven commodity. But people without licenses, well, they might be able to do it for cheaper. So we'll see if you are, forbidden from doing certain jobs without the license, or if you can do that job without a license. It's just, you don't have as strong a claim as, if you would have had a license.
Yeah, I can see that.
As say again?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, as a parallel, if you need someone to, roof your house, sure, you can page through the yellow pages or do a Google search or whatever to find a roofer in your area, or, hey, you might have a friend who isn't, a licensed and certified roofer, but is good with his hands. You have a choice there. And
yes.
If you have that same choice in Star Citizen, I don't think that would be a bad thing at all.
Yeah, so, and I think this is also a way the USC could probably make some sort of lucrative profit, because I'm looking at this next point, which can relate to the whole licenses, or what you were talking about, is that privateering with a letter of marque by in game by the issuing government, which is basically you're a sanctioned privateer for a government. And I think that the Defense Force could make quite a bit of money off of doing this. I know we're supposed to be, our own type of government, but I think privateering could be a way that at least the Defense Force can earn some capital for the USC. Same with the USCIC can provide other services, for people with licenses or without licenses for money or whatnot. Yeah, but I'm seeing a lot of ways that the USC can make a lot of money.
Yeah, sure. He also puts in his note that there's an ability to rent a storefront, like in a space station or something like this.
That's interesting.
Yeah. All right.
You
so-
can also lend ships or rent ships to people, maybe. Oh, go ahead, Hanson.
I was saying, we're just gonna move on to the next thing, because again we're kind of getting crunched on time. There's no crafting, but you can overclock and tweak your ships, modules, weapon parts, and then sell it. So basically, you can pimp your own ride and sell it for profit, I guess. And that's pretty much expected for a ship sim.
Put some dubs on that.
Go ahead, Landscaper. Yeah, or as I was gonna say is that you could have the fine folks in the United States Confederation Aeronautical Engineering Department overclock your ship.
I forgot about them. I forgot they existed, actually. Don't they have like 12 guys?
For now.
Well, for one of the four.
And we would be amiss.
Well, for one of the four branches of the USC, they make up like less than 10% of the citizens.
And I mean, what's your point? They're still a branch of the USC, and I'm sure once we find out more about the specifics of overclocking and whatnot, I'm sure that they might get more people coming to them, because they might look at that overclocking system and say, what, I could have fun with this, and sure, they might play with the AE part-time.
Yeah, and they'll be nice to have on the capital ships, because I hear that they'll be valuable with rerouting repairs. If your shields fall down, they could help. If they have that license that you guys were talking about, they could get the shields back up faster.
Well, see, I see a lot of cooperation between at least the aeronautical engineering, the expeditionary corps, and the defense force. At least when when you're working on a larger ship like the Bengal or even the Idris frigate. You can have the AE working as engineers on the ship. You can have the expeditionary corps working the fighters, or any kind of forward recon for the ship, and you have defense force crew in the ship. And I think that it'll be some weird, some interesting dynamics.
Yeah, and one of the other things is that I've heard that the roles for jamming and for hacking would probably go to the aeronautical engineering people, because it's the logical place that they would go. Which means if a DF guy wants to have a Growler Hornet, a Super Hornet with a big jamming package, sure, that pilot's going to be a DF guy, but his backseater, his Rio, is going to be an AE guy, and he's going to be jamming everything. But nevertheless, your point about cooperation between all the branches of the USC, yeah, and that's fantastic, because as the USC, when we roll out together, we're stronger.
Yeah.
Yep, and we're going to have to be strong because, as Dante pointed out, Earth and Terra, the UEE, will at some point enter into a civil war. So, yeah. That's what kind of excited me about the USC, is that lore-wise, we're kind of branching away from the UEE. So this will be fun indeed.
Now what I would like to see for the USC is for us to be actually in the official lore. But that's for another day. Alright, so moving on. Players will be able to earn the right to manage a production node. However, players are not able to change what the factory produces, but can produce slightly improved versions of the same parts. So I'm guessing that's we can take over production facilities and manage it. I think that's more of the USCIC's forte though.
Yes, it is.
All right, so existing in an in-game large NPC corporations will be targeting you if your business becomes competitive with theirs. So basically, I suppose if another large corp is competing with our production, then I suppose we can go target them, whether or not we hire privateers or bounty hunters or whatnot. But this could also be another job for the defense force. Privateers for hire to sabotage enemy production facilities.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that it'll be interesting to see how CIG deals with monopolies and very aggressive business practices and stuff like that. I mean, I have the feeling that they wouldn't just roll over and let people do all the douchey things that businesses have historically done.
What? It works on Eve?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw "worked" in quotes there, and in parentheses put "and drove away a whole bunch of people who didn't want to deal with the bullshit." But that's just me.
I never said it was perfect, but I mean, like I said, the reason I got interested in EVE Online was because the whole universe is driven by the players. There are no administrators on EVE Online looking after everything. Like there's no studio controlled economy. It's all player based, and but it's going to be really hard for anybody to really monopolize everything, because I mean, look at EVE Online. You have all these corps owning all these different types, areas in space. So that means they're going to have mining worlds, they're going to have production facilities making these products, and not everybody's going to own all the production facilities to make missiles. And that it's going to be impossible.
Yeah, but what if they do?
Yeah, but that's like, what if someone nukes Washington, D.C.?
That's a point. The thing is that, well, I think one of the advantages of Star Citizen over Eve is that not everything is player driven. Sure, there is a lot of player driven stuff in Star Citizen, but the totality isn't player driven, and I think that's a good thing, simply because, anonymous player people can quickly turn into raging douchebags. I remember reading a story on Cracked, which is responsible for, endless hours of entertainment, about how a dude managed to kill Lord Britain in Ultima Online, in like the mid '90s or whatever like that, and then all the players who were at this celebration where Lord Ultima or Lord Britain or Lord Britannia or whatever he was killed, promptly rioted and trashed the freaking kingdom, so players in large groups can swiftly turn to being molten douchebags.
Well, yeah, look at Goonrathy. Alright, so with, there's gonna be no zone restrictions for hull insurance, so if it works everywhere, how cargo upgrade insurances will have zone restrictions. I really don't think that's too important right now. So ships and weapons will be balanced to the equivalent of rock, paper, scissors, like most real-time strategy games, kind of balance their units. So, armored is good against infantry, infantry's good against air, and air is good against armor. That type of thing. Alright, so capital ships like the Bengal carrier are in-game persistent, so when you log off, it will remain in-game. So make sure you have enough friends or hired guards to protect it while you're away. So basically, I believe that means that we're gonna have to hire, or at least have a full-time staff, if we're gonna have anything over, anything over. Oh shit! I think even Idris, basically anything frigate or above. Which I find weird, because frigates aren't actually capital ships, technically.
Well, yeah, you're right. They aren't, capital ships under, the classical designation. And also, I remember the Idris, when it was still a corvette, being stipulated as the largest ship that you could log out with. So hopefully it will still keep that in its frigate incarnation as well. But nevertheless, your point is still valid. If we get a destroyer, if we get, battle cruiser, an escort carrier,
or a dreadnought, or a fucking Titan,
be a huge. Say again?
No, I said, or a dreadnought, or a Titan, or anything. Like I said, anything over a fucking frigate.
Yeah, exactly. If we get any sort of larger ship, it's going to be a major commitment. And frankly, I'm not sure if we can handle it right now, but I'm sure that, by showing how awesome the USC is, we could get enough people to crew a Bengal, because we are that awesome. But, it would be a commitment, and, and it would be a huge loss if, we left our destroyer, undercrewed, and it got ganked by someone.
We'll have to form a new squadron, and on the logo, on their patch, it'd be maybe like an infant baby in a pair of diapers, the old-fashioned cloth diapers with the big pins. The babysitter squadron.
No, well,
I'm sorry, did you just reference Battlestar Galactica?
I think you did. No. Well, see, I think with the Defense Force, what we could probably do is we can have kind of like carrier battle groups, and actually have a carrier crew rather than a squadron, but actually have the ship as a unit in itself. So you have a lot of personnel to crew the carrier, but have at least double what's required. So that way, if some people aren't on, there's always going to be at least someone on to crew the carrier, whether or not to fly it or command it.
Right, exactly, and that's exactly what I mean by it being a significant commitment. Having double or triple or quadruple the amount to run, a given larger ship just so that we have enough people to operate it if we need to. That's a significant amount of people.
And
Well, guys,
also,
and to throw in that we're talking about these larger ships. I think that part of the IC, if it's possible in the game, part of our mission is to work on ways to gather the resources to either buy these capital boats or to, I don't know if the game will allow us to buy the parts to craft it, or we can buy the hull and upgrade it with the components. But if that's some sort of mini game or some kind of game inside the game where we can work as a group to make that contribution collectively, that would be interesting, and that's something that I personally hope to participate in.
Yeah, that would be cool. And actually, and bringing that up, I'm really wondering if we could, or sorry, if a given production node, I wonder if they could be a subcontractor to, say, rocket-based industries, and contribute resources towards building another Bengal. That would be cool.
Yeah, I
there
mean,
you go.
so, I think this is where we'll start seeing the higher ranks of the defense force get implemented, because I know, at this point, other than the admiral, the highest rank we really have is lieutenant commander. I believe that's Flash and the leaders of the squadrons. But I think, once we can take control of these Bengal carriers, you'll start seeing the ranks of rear admiral or captain start showing up. But of course.
Well, also the thing is that the reason that we don't have much in the way of ranking is because even our defense squadrons still haven't started rolling out en masse. Sure, we meet for the occasional training operation, but it's like Flash has Dante as his XO. I'm kind of Twilly's XO. And and other than that, we just have people. We don't have established, subdivisions of our squadrons. And again, that's just because we haven't done much. Once the dogfighting module runs out, or comes out, yeah, we're going to be playing a lot more, and we're going to be developing our identities as a squadron.
Yeah. Alright, so moving on, I'm going to skip the whole non-capital ships being able to log out with, because that's pretty obvious. Apparently there will be in-game sports events, the Murray Cup Racing. So for those of you people with the 350R, you'll get to put that little bad boy to the test in one of these racing cups, hopefully. And maybe we might be able to get some bookie start type of stuff going on, gambling. It's I'm not gonna lie, it's probably where I'm gonna spend most of my time if I'm not stuck if I'm not stuck crewing some carrier. I'll probably be at like a fucking racing cup making bets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there's also going to be a the in-lore sport is Sada ball, and I have no idea how it's played, but I think it's something kind of like a basketball, football, rugby thing. But yeah, that's another, in-universe sport. So, we'll see if they actually do anything with Sada ball broadcasts. Because it would be awesome as hell if they did.
Yeah. Alright, so also there's going to be hitting...
What else you got for us, Hanson?
Hold on. I was going to say, yeah, there's also going to be hidden asteroid bases, so that'll be interesting. Maybe we can set up something like that if we ever find it. But what were you saying, Landscaper?
I was just asking what was next on our agenda here.
Oh, this that.
I think we're having some lag issues. You're kind of breaking up a little bit for me, but I wonder if it's on my end.
It's probably on my end. This live stream program takes up a lot of CPU power. But I believe we'll probably have to touch base on this this list that Dante's put up probably next podcast, because this list is very long. So we might dedicate our next podcast to mostly to going over the rest of this and talking about it. And hopefully there might be a little bit more news about it. in the next 2 weeks or a week, depending on when we can get on base. But yeah, so we can start wrapping things up right here. I do want to encourage everybody to visit the United Space Confederation. That is unitedSpaceConfederation.com, or the forums at unitedSpaceConfederation.engine.com. Both of those links will be in the link dump on YouTube. I also want to encourage everybody to follow me on at Lyoko222 on Twitter. So you can ask any questions during the podcast or on the live stream. We monitor both. I want to encourage everybody to go listen to some of the programs at Base Radio. If anybody has the link to that, does anybody have a link?
I can pull that up for you, Hanson, and get it to you. In the meantime, I wanted to draw your attention to United Space Confederation dinging 10,000 unique hits.
Yeah, USC.
Oh right, I totally skipped that because we were going so long on that interesting topic list. But yeah, on Wednesday we hit over 10,000 unique hits on our engine website, but only have 100 and something members. Come on, you cheap bastards, join.
For now.
But anyway, like I said, I want to encourage everybody to listen to programs on Base Radio. We'll have the link here in a second from Landscaper. I want to encourage everybody, when we finally get on Base Radio, that's where we will probably be. We won't be doing this crappy live stream anymore. We'll actually be live on Base Radio once we get all that set up. Anybody else have anything?
No, I think we're good. I think that's a full one.
Yeah, I mean, I've already gotten the requisite amount of recruiting pushes there, so yeah, I'm good.
All right. Once again, thank you for listening to the USC Community Podcast.
See you in the verse.
And check back with us in the next 2 weeks when we will be broadcasting again on Saturday, May 17th. That'll be at 2:10 p.m. Eastern Time. Once again, that is 2:10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I'm NF Hanson, SEO, with your community podcast crew, Ogiwan and Landscaper, and wishing you guys a happy flight in Star Citizen.